Yard, Captain. I think I spot a scientist over there. Hey everyone, in our last video we went over the basics of our Palmetto State Armory GF3 and the accessories that we collected for our testing. My goal for this test was to run as much ammo through this gun in as little time as possible. We collected the chamber and barrel temps right here at the front sight block before firing. We would fire 150 rounds as fast as I could pull the trigger and load magazines. Afterwards, I would take another chamber temperature and barrel temperature. Later on, I started taking the gas block temperature as well and would let the rifle cool between strings and while I loaded more ammunition. Every 1,000 rounds, immediately following that 1,000 round or 1,050 round marker, I would immediately put the gun on the bench and load and shoot for accuracy with our Hornady 123 grain SST. We would clean parts of the gun for taking pictures, especially scrub the chamber, make it nice and clean, check our head space, take pictures, reassemble, and resume our testing thereafter. I'll put links in the description below for each segment of the 1,000 rounds that I ran through the gun, so if you just want to jump through towards the end or a particular spot you can, as I'm going to speed up all of the firing in between. So grab your popcorn and let's see if we can break this. Stoppage. The live round in there. Our round count on the PSAK 47 GF3 is 1120. We've scrubbed the chamber with brake cleaner, carb cleaner, chamber brush, and some hoppies. Let it dry. We have our no-go gauge in here. We'll press it forward. Looks like it's not going anywhere, not swallowing that. We'll take a measurement between here. See what we get. Make sure you get enough pressure on that. Maybe, kind of hard to do. Looks to be about 393. Or 390 since I just moved it. Maybe hard to see. It was 393. We'll take a couple measurements off camera and enter it again, but it looks like 393. On to the next 1,000 rounds. Alright, our round count is at 2050. We've gone ahead and scrubbed the chamber with our chamber brush, sprayed it out with some brake cleaner and some hoppies number 9. We have our no-go gauge in here. We have the carrier as far forward as it will go. You can see I'm applying pressure, and our dimension here that we tried to measure last time is right around 390. You may not be able to see that, but it's 390. I'll record that in our spreadsheet, and now we'll continue up to the 3,000 round mark. Our round count is 3,040. We've scrubbed the chamber and cleaned parts that we want to take pictures of. We have our no-go gauge in here. Slide this guy forward. As you can see, with good pressure, still not closing on that no-go gauge. See if we can get a measurement here that we were taking last time. If I quit moving it. 388 or 377 since I moved it a little bit, but 388 is what I'm getting there. I do believe we'll take that. Let's break down our results. I tried various magazines in addition to the mag pulls that I have here, but mainly the mag pulls from Gun Mag Warehouse. We had firm engagement when we first started with the gun, but they kind of loosened up just a little bit over time, and otherwise had no issues with them or bake lights or standard surplus steel or the Korean steel or the Croatian bolt hold opens. I had no issues with them in this GF3. We had a total of 2 failures over the 3,040 rounds that we ran through the gun. At 940 rounds, for some reason I'm not sure if one of the rounds popped out or whatever, but it became malformed and got stuck in the chamber, and I had to mortar the round to get it out. As you see, I didn't break the mag pull stock, which says they're pretty sturdy unless you get them extremely cold and frozen with water and then try to mortar the gun. The second failure was at the end of the 3,000 round string when we were shooting for accuracy. For whatever reason, the disconnector did not want to release the hammer, so I had to recharge the gun. That could be because it was extremely dirty inside. I'm not sure. I haven't really cleaned the inside of the receiver too much, mainly just the forward parts from checking headspace. The mix of ammunition from Salmon SG ammo varied from 8M3, M67 Yugo, which is corrosive, Golden Tiger, Wolf, Tula, Barnaul, Hornady SST, and anything else that we had on hand at the time. We did have some hard primers from Golden Tiger and even Pierce primers. I'm not sure if the colder than normal weather, it was about 30 degrees that day that I was running the Golden Tiger, contributed to any of that and made them a little more brittle, but I didn't really experience any of that with the M67 or the other ammunition that I had on hand. As far as our temperatures go during our string of testing, the max chamber temperature that we hit on the outside of the chamber here was 220 degrees Fahrenheit. The temperature that I obtained at max here on the front sight base on the barrel was 570 degrees. As mentioned, I did check the gas block later on towards the end of testing, and I hit a max of 775 degrees. As far as our accuracy portion goes, we maintained under 1.85 inches during all of the testing. That was done with our primary arms 1X Cyclops. Our front sight base was actually centered from the factory and required no windage adjustment. As far as wear, I'll post a link to the spreadsheet so it's easier to study. Our headspace hasn't changed since 1,000 rounds, but my headspacing technique is very basic to say the least. I did allow the gun to cool significantly before testing headspace. As far as wear goes, there is some wear on the right side of the trunnion that does mimic what R.A.N.G.E had posted on his sample. We do have a little bit of flattening of the carrier tail back here, which is normal. The hammer from Palmetto State Armory looks good. I didn't see any other excessive wear. All of our rivets are still flat, they're loose. Our barrel pin is still there, which is a good thing. Finish on the gun remains to be pretty uniform. There's a little bit of gobness going on up here at the gas block because at one point when I had to mortar the gun to clear that jam, I inadvertently grabbed the gas block instead of the handguard with my glove and melted the glove on there. I did melt part of the mag pull handguard here. It may be hard to see, but the takedown lever is actually melted kind of to the side, so you need a screwdriver now to pull the takedown lever up to take the handguard off. The RD4C Slim is still rocking. It was a wise investment for recoil management to keep the barrel down from firing as fast as I could. The 1X Cyclops is doing well. I can't pick up the detail very well of the chevron tip at 1X. I may have to give it a go with a 3X magnifier, but so far it's holding up rather nicely. I did notice occasionally after firing a lot of rounds that the diopter in the back would rotate a little bit. I think because of having this, you know, the cap flipped up and it was acting kind of like a counterweight. So I just took a silver Sharpie and marked a couple spots in there so I could just turn the diopter back to where I had it set. The knockoff Midwest mount did okay. At times firing the lockdown lever here would come loose a little bit and the mount would start to wobble, and I wouldn't catch it sometimes until doing the accuracy portion, and then I would tighten it down. But after getting this about as tight as I can, it seems to be holding up rather well. After all that, I am officially out of ammunition to torch with this GF3. I will continue to monitor wear as round count increases from any testing that I do, unless you guys feel that I should source another 2,000 rounds to complete a 5,000 round test on it. But Matt, TLDR, just tell me if I should buy the GF3 from Palmetto State Armory. Well, if you're looking for a budget-friendly, made in the USA AK-47 that's backed by a pretty sound company, then I'd say a big fat yes. I'm sure there's going to be comments that roll in that say, oh Matt, they just gave you this gun to shill for you. Well, they did provide me with the gun, like I've mentioned, but originally I wanted to have this 16-inch AK to do any ammunition testing and do a review on it. And the torture test idea came up after watching other American-made AKs go bottom up. As always, I'd like to thank everyone that's helped me make this video possible. I couldn't have done this without help from Sam at SG Ammo, Daniel at Gun Mag Warehouse, Ash and Justin at JMac Customs, Dimitri from Primary Arms, and Josiah from Palmetto State Armory. I'll make a public post on my Patreon's page with links to their businesses. And until next time, catch you at the range.